right, Christopher joins me now to talk about his run for Congress. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. So I'm going to do my best to summarize sort of your background, and then we're going to delve a little bit deeper into each part as it relates to your candidacy.
Excellent.
So you are a documentary filmmaker, but you have been involved in mostly progressive campaigns, generally in Colorado, before you moved to SoCal in 2014. You have sort of a not so traditional family background. Your family, yeah, and your stepmom's side is pretty conservative, Army family. Your mom and her partner more left-leaning in a sense. So you have both of those in your DNA. So with that said, why are you running for the seat?
Yeah, so basically, I had been making documentaries for about the last 8 years, and as you mentioned, prior to that, I had been in progressive politics, primarily in Colorado. But as a documentary filmmaker, while you are engaged in change and trying to steer the narrative on some really important issues, I felt like I was missing part of that direct, hands-on action to try to get out and engage with the public directly and, you know, kind of do my bit to make the world a better place as I see it.
So after you announced your candidacy here, you have been going out into the community in the district, right? So what have you found as far as what people care about and what makes this district unique?
You know, this district is pretty, it's the 25th, you know, district, which covers, you know, as you mentioned, Santa Clarita and parts of the Antelope Valley and Simi Valley, and those are very different areas and different towns that have different perspectives on what should be done. And so I think that leads to a very sort of interesting and eclectic blend of viewpoints. And so what I found most unique through this process is just A, like, you know, those different viewpoints, but also B, that the district has gone through a lot of turmoil in terms of politics, and people, that's very embedded in the DNA, particularly of the local kind of political party and activists and things like that. So it has been a little bit of a struggle to, as somebody who is not a career politician, to make inroads into that community and you know, and get people to trust me that I'm doing things for the right reasons and that I care about trying to represent them in an authentic way in Washington.
So what are some of the issues that are particular to this district? They're always in a threat of fires at this point. We saw the Saga shooting, and there's certainly different perspectives about how to avoid those type of shootings. And like you said, these districts include parts of the country that are so different in terms of political views. So what have you found in terms of what people are saying about these issues, and what do you think you can contribute to that?
Yeah, you touched on a lot of them, and I think that in addition to those, there are the issues that face every American in the country, which are quality, high-paying jobs, access to healthcare as a right, and also climate change and these environmental issues that impact everybody. I think those are important to every single district. But in addition to that, the ones more specific to the district are definitely, as part of the climate change thing, are the forest fires, which threaten many parts of the district. You know, public lands, a lot of the district is national forest, so that is, I think, something that's also important. You also have jobs. You know, when you look at Antelope Valley, and a lot of the major employers are the defense industry and the healthcare industry. Beyond that, there's not a whole lot of variety in different industries. So if anything were to happen for those to leave, you know, we would have some real problems in terms of people finding work within the district without having to commute the 70 minutes to LA. So I think, you know, those are the primary ones, and the Saga shooting, I think, really unfortunately puts the spotlight on gun control in a way that maybe the district hadn't had to confront in the past. And, you know, Simi Valley being one of the most conservative cities actually in the country, I think that sort of debate around gun issues, which, you know, a lot of people do favor some types of gun control, I think that is going to come to the forefront in the near future.
Now, you certainly seem issues focused, and as you describe yourself on your website, pretty idealistic as well. The way that we've seen politics play out, it's a pretty vicious world. You either have to be pretty aggressive or you have to have the backing of one of the political groups.
That's right.
With you. So with that said, is there something about that that's concerning to you, because you do seem sort of like the political person, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, and I think that's a fair assessment. I believe in, the importance of political parties. However, I also think that the political parties have to live up to their own espoused values of democracy and fairness and due process. And I think that because of the way in which Katie Hill had to resign quickly and the schedule for the special election and the general election and the way that all unfolded, that there was a rush to basically just hand off the baton to who they saw as her successor. And I think that that's led to a lot of I'll just, I think charitably, what could be called shortcuts in the way that, the political party, the Democrats, as well as other affiliated groups that work in democratic politics have gone about endorsing in this particular race. And I think it's a bit unfortunate because it seems like they're trying to not allow other voices to be heard and to have my opponent, Christoper Smith, to defend her positions in public against other candidates and really present them to voters in a way to give voters an informed choice when they go into the ballot on Super Tuesday. So I think it's unfortunate. I'd like to see a change. We're trying to organize actually a debate right now, and it has been behind the scenes been scuttled a few times by Christie's campaign, and this is the kind of thing that's been going on. Now, me as a candidate and as a voter, I don't like to see in politics. I want to see an open and robust debate about the issues. So me as a voter or me as a candidate, we have the opportunity to engage in a democratic process that's fair to all.
Yeah, and that debate is happening tomorrow with some of
Yes.
the candidates as well. Right?
Yes, and actively even this morning we were dealing with a lot of pressure for our moderator to drop out from people within the community, but we think potentially from this candidate, and it's really unfortunate. We invited everybody and we tried to organize with everybody's input, but the rumor is that that Cenk is trying to organize it, another one of my opponents, and that's just not simply the case. It really was a joint effort by all the other Democratic candidates in the race.
Well, Christopher, it has certainly been a pleasure having you on.
Thank
we
you.
will certainly be watching this race closely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.